You did everything right, or so you think. Then a gate agent spots a mismatch, a harmless cough, or a camouflage tee headed for a country where that's illegal. And boom, vacation over. This video breaks down the most common ways cruisers get turned away at the pier. Name glitches, damaged IDs, musters you thought didn't matter, chargebacks that get you banned, and the exact steps to dodge them. I'll give you 12 red flags that get you denied in boarding day. Stick around until the last red flag: overbooked ship that keeps you out. Let's keep you on board. Name, date, or passport. Typos that don't match your ID. This is the most common trip killer because it hides in plain sight. The cruise line and border systems compare your booking to your legal ID character by character. A missing middle name, a flipped birth year, an extra space, or a hyphen you forgot to include can trigger a mismatch when the manifest is screened. At the terminal, that turns into manual reviews, supervisor calls, and a clock you can't control. If the record can't be corrected in time, boarding is denied even though you're standing there with bags in hand. The upside is how preventable it is. As soon as the confirmation lands, read it against your passport like you're proofreading a contract. If you changed your name after booking, update the reservation and carry the original document that links names. For kids, make sure the passport or certified birth certificate matches the reservation exactly, including double last names and suffixes. When you renew a passport, go back into your cruise account and swap in the new number and expiry instead of assuming it will sync. The benefit of getting this right is a check-in that feels effortless. Agents scan, the system clears you, and you're walking toward lunch instead of a back-office desk. The cost of getting it wrong is losing a vacation day or the entire cruise over one stray character. Clean data equals smooth boarding. Damaged or wrong ID. A passport can be valid in theory and still be rejected at the pier. Torn pages, water ripples, peeling laminate, a smudged photo, or loose stitching are red flags. Staff are trained to refuse damaged documents, because once you're at sea, a questionable passport can derail immigration in every port. The same logic applies to almost right alternatives. A hospital birth record, a photocopy or a screenshot of an ID will not substitute for a certified birth certificate with a raised seal. Name changes that aren't supported by original legal paperwork stall the process, and passports that expire too soon for your itinerary can make you inadmissible even if the cruise is short. The downside of discovering this at check-in is obvious. There's no time to get replacements, and the ship won't hold departure for paperwork fixes. You watch sail away from the curb. The advantage of checking weeks ahead is equally clear. A quick inspection under good light catches delamination or water damage. Verifying expiration windows against every country on your route keeps you off the wrong side of an immigration rule. Packing certified documents for minors, plus notarized consent when required, prevents last-minute standstills at the desk. When your ID is pristine and appropriate for the itinerary, the process clicks, scanners read cleanly, agents move you along, and you're on deck before the band finishes its first song. Treat the document like your golden ticket and it behaves like one. Denied for hygiene or unfit to travel at check-in. This one feels personal, but on embarkation day the call isn't about embarrassment, it's about comfort and safety for everyone on board. Terminal medical staff and the ship's officers can refuse boarding if a guest appears unwell or unable to manage basic hygiene independently. That can mean a persistent, unexplained cough, visible flu-like symptoms, strong body odor that suggests a sanitary concern, or a recent medical event that hasn't been cleared. The decision is fast, cautious, and rarely reversible once it's made at the pier. There's a better path. If you live with a condition that could be misunderstood, chronic cough from allergies, a metabolic disorder that affects odor, a mobility or cognitive issue, loop in the cruise line's accessibility or special needs team well before final payment. Written notes from your physician, medication lists, and a simple fit-to-travel letter often shift a snap judgment into a green light. Pack what supports you on day one: prescription meds in original containers, travel-size hygiene items in your carry-on, and a short explanation you can show politely if questions arise. The upside of being proactive is a smoother check-in and fewer awkward conversations later. The downside of ignoring it is steep. Denied boarding without compensation is common when staff deem a risk too high to manage at sea. Cruising is close-quarters living. When you show that you're prepared and stable, the team can focus on welcoming you aboard instead of weighing a tough call at the counter. Skipping the mandatory muster drill. Sail away doesn't begin at the pool, it begins when every passenger completes the safety drill. Whether your ship uses an e-muster video plus check-in at your station, or a traditional gathering, attendance is tracked in real time through your cruise card or medallion. The moment the horn sounds, staff run reports and start hunting the stragglers. If your name stays on that list, your cruise ends before it starts. The card gets deactivated, security escorts you off, and refunds are unlikely. Treat muster as the first, quickest appointment of the trip. It's 10 minutes that buys you peace of mind for the whole week. You learn your assembly station, the sound of the alarm, and the route from your cabin when hallways are crowded, not when they're smoky or dark. It also prevents small hassles later. Guests who haven't completed muster often lose access to bars or dining until they do, which turns a simple task into hours of missed fun. The smoothest rhythm is simple. After boarding, drop your bag, watch the safety video if required, and walk straight to your assigned station with your card in hand. Crew scan you in, confirm you know the route, and you're done, free to chase that first slice of pizza or a lounger on deck. Respect the rule and the ship sails on time. Dodge it and you're waving from the pier as everyone else heads for sunset. If this is helping you dodge a denial, tap like so more cruisers see it. Hit subscribe for weekly no-fluff cruise intel, and drop "Sail Smart" in the comments so I know you're part of the savvy crew. Alright, back to the quiet rules that can end a vacation before it starts. Recent illness or surgery without a fit-to-sail letter. Terminal medical teams make judgment calls fast. If you've had a recent surgery, hospitalization, or anything that looks contagious, persistent cough, feverish appearance, GI symptoms, the safest play is a simple piece of paper, a doctor's note stating you're stable to travel. Manage your own care and don't pose a risk to others. Policies vary by line, but the pattern is consistent. When documentation is ready, boarding is routine. When it isn't, the conversation turns short, cautious, and often final. The letter works best when it's specific. It should name your condition or surgery, the date you were cleared, any mobility limits, and any equipment you use, CPAP, oxygen, sharps. Pack meds in original containers, bring a brief medication list, and keep everything in your carry-on, not checked luggage. If you're under active care or within a recent recovery window, email the accessibility or medical desk before final payment. They'll note your file, advise on timing, and sometimes request additional info like a post-op follow-up date or wound status. There's upside to being transparent. The ship can pre-approve safe storage for meds, arrange a mini-fridge, confirm sharps disposal, and flag you for priority assistance at tender ports if needed. The downside of silence is harsh. If staff suspect you're not fit to sail, they'll deny boarding to protect the voyage, and refunds are unlikely. Aim to get your fit-to-sail letter within 7-10 days of embarkation. Carry a copy, and keep a photo on your phone. Clear the question on land so nobody has to make a tough call at the pier. Travel insurance won't cover your mistakes. Travel insurance saves trips. It doesn't erase self-inflicted errors. Most plans exclude foreseeable or within your control problems. A name mismatch on your booking, an expired or damaged passport, missing visas, arriving late to the pier, or ignoring a required fit-to-sail letter are routinely declined. That's the con. Paperwork mistakes stay your financial responsibility. Where insurance shines is real trouble you can't predict. Shipboard medical care, emergency evacuation, trip interruption for covered reasons, and baggage delay. Hurricanes are mixed. You must buy before a storm is named, and schedule changes or missed ports usually aren't payable. I changed my mind isn't covered unless you added cancel for any reason CFR soon after deposit. Even then, reimbursement is partial and varies by plan. The smart play is early and precise. Purchase when you put down your first payment so pre-existing condition waivers and CFAR windows remain open. Ensure the full amount of prepaid non-refundable costs, so your benefit matches your risk. Pick primary medical coverage to avoid slow reimbursements. Keep proof tidy: doctor notes, receipts, delay letters in one folder on your phone and in print. Think of insurance as a safety net for the uncontrollable and a spotlight on sloppy prep. Use it with clean documents and confirmed details, and it will protect where it truly counts. Criminal records that block entry. Cruise lines rarely run deep background checks, but ports care. Passenger manifests go to authorities before sailing. If a country on your route deems you inadmissible, the line may deny boarding at the pier to protect the itinerary. Canada is the classic trap on Alaska routes. Even a single old DUI can be an issue without formal rehabilitation or a temporary resident permit. Australia, New Zealand, and parts of Asia maintain their own strict rules for certain convictions. This isn't punishment from the cruise line, it's logistics. A ship can't carry a guest who can't legally step ashore. When a government says no, refunds are unlikely, because the cruise operates as sold. That's the con. There is a path forward, but it takes time. Many countries offer waivers or rehabilitation processes that require documents and weeks, sometimes months, to approve. The fix is to research every port's admissibility rules before you book, not after you've packed. If there's any history, DUI, drug possession, assault, consult the relevant consulate or an immigration attorney and apply early. Bring printed approval to the terminal. If clearance isn't possible, choose an itinerary that avoids the problem country, such as round trips that skip Canada for Alaska, or postpone until your status is resolved. Clarity beats hope here. Once admissibility is settled, embarkation becomes routine. Banned clothing in port. What you wear ashore can get you turned around at the gangway, or worse, pulled aside by local police. The most common surprise is camouflage. In several Caribbean nations, think Barbados, Jamaica, Antigua and Barbuda, camo patterns are reserved for the military. Tourists wearing camo shorts, hats or bags can be fined or asked to change before entering attractions. On the ship, staff may even warn you on embarkation day if your outfit could be a problem later. That's the con. An innocent fashion choice becomes a time waster and a mood killer. Ship rules matter too. Family-friendly standards apply in public areas. Graphic profanity, explicit images, or offensive slogans can get you a quiet tap on the shoulder to change. Refusing to comply can escalate quickly and in extreme cases lead to denied boarding or removal at the next port. You're on vacation. You don't need that drama. The upside is easy. Pack simple, neutral outfits that travel anywhere. Light tees, polos, sundresses, linen shirts. Save the statement pieces for sail-away photos. If you love a print, go tropical instead of tactical. Before you fly, take 60 seconds to skim the clothing section for each destination on a trusted travel site or the country's tourism page. On port mornings, give your fit a quick sanity check while you grab sunscreen. If you do realize too late that camo made it into your day bag, swap tops or turn the cap inside your backpack before stepping ashore. Smooth day saved, no lecture required. Overbooked ship or broken cabin. Every once in a while, the cruise world borrows a page from the airline playbook: more bookings than beds. Add the occasional last-minute maintenance failure, a flooded bathroom, dead AC, and a perfectly good reservation can get messy. Most of the time, lines solve this with volunteers, offering juicy incentives to move dates or downgrade temporarily. That's the pro. If your plans are flexible, you can trade inconvenience for serious perks. Future cruise credit, onboard credit, free Wi-Fi, even specialty dining. The con shows up when the ship is full and your exact cabin is suddenly out of service. You may be reassigned to a different category or asked to accept an interior when you booked a balcony. In rare cases, if there's simply no space left, you can be bumped off the sailing. It's maddening because you did everything right. Stack the deck in your favor. Book directly with the cruise line or a responsive agent, complete online check-in the minute it opens, and avoid guarantee categories if you dislike surprises. Assigned cabins with specific numbers are harder to shuffle. If you do get the dreaded call or pier-side news, stay calm and negotiate politely but firmly. Ask for a full refund plus a substantial future cruise credit, match or exceed your original perks, Protect your original dining and show reservations, and confirm everything in writing before you accept. If the fix is just a one-night move while maintenance finishes, request compensation and a deep clean before re-entry. Most sailings are smooth. On the odd messy one, a steady head and clear ask turn a setback into an upgrade you'll brag about later. Filing a credit card chargeback can get you banned. A chargeback feels like an easy fix after a bad experience. Call the bank, dispute the charge, get your money back. But with cruise lines, that win can come with a permanent consequence. A quiet ban from booking with that brand again. From the line's perspective, a chargeback isn't a complaint, it's an unpaid debt. Their systems flag your profile and future reservations may be blocked or auto-cancelled until the balance is repaid. Some travelers only discover this when a new booking mysteriously won't ticket. There is a time and place for disputes. True fraud service is never rendered with zero response from the line. But most onboard issues have internal remedies that won't nuke your relationship. The pro of handling it directly is leverage. Guest relations can issue onboard credit, partial refunds, or future cruise credits, and keep your profile clean. The con is patience. Resolutions can take days or weeks, and you'll need documentation, folio screenshots, dates, names, and what was promised. If you're offered compensation, make sure it's captured in writing, email, or updated invoice. Not just a verbal "we'll take care of it." If the line stops responding and you've given them a fair window, escalate to corporate guest relations or the executive office. Save the chargeback as the nuclear option, understanding it may end your ability to sail that brand. Short-term satisfaction versus long-term access. That's the real trade-off. Protect your future vacations by pushing hard but staying inside the cruise line's process first. Reservation canceled after you shared your booking number. One screenshot can sink a vacation. Post a celebratory booking confirmation to social media. Name, sail date, record locator in plain view, and a bad actor has everything needed to enter your reservation portal. With many systems, that's enough to cancel excursions, alter guests, or even void the entire cruise. Families have shown up at the pier to learn their $10,000 trip was canceled days earlier by someone else. The ship is full. The dream is over. The obvious con is catastrophic. No cabin, no sailing, and a refund fight you didn't ask for. The subtle downside is smaller sabotage, your dining time changed, paid packages removed, or contact details swapped so you miss critical emails. The upside is simple and powerful: privacy. Treat your booking number like a password. Share sail dates and ports if you want the hype. Keep the locator off camera. If damage happens, speed is everything. Call the cruise line security or resolutions team immediately. Ask to lock the record and restore the last verified version. Provide ID, original payment proof, and the confirmation email with timestamps. A good agent can sometimes reinstate space or protect you on the next sailing with meaningful compensation, but results hinge on availability. A responsive travel advisor is gold here. They can bypass hold queues and reach the right desk fast. For prevention, use unique logins, enable two-factor authentication where offered, and funnel all changes through one account holder. Celebrate the countdown, not the code. The less you broadcast, the less there is to weaponize, and the smoother your sail away. Age rules for cabins. This one ruins more spring break and graduation trips than weather ever will. On most mainstream lines sailing from North America, you must be 21 plus to occupy a stateroom on your own. If you're under 21, you need an older roommate, typically 25 plus, on the booking. That's why groups of 18-20-year-olds show up with paid cabins and still get turned away at check-in. No refund, no exceptions at the pier. Policies shift by brand and region. Royal Caribbean drops the solo age to 18 on many sailings outside North America. Virgin Voyages is 18 plus across the board because it's adults only. Carnival and Norwegian commonly keep the 21 plus cabin rule worldwide unless you're married or active duty military, paperwork required. Another hidden catch: even when a parent books 2 cabins for the family, lines often require that a minor's cabin be adjacent across the hall or within a few doors of the adults. If it isn't, the pier team may reassign rooms on the spot to meet policy, which can split your group or downgrade that hard-won view. There are upsides if you plan it right. Bookings that follow the rules sail smoothly, and you keep your dining times, perks, and cabin placements. The workaround most families use is simple. Book one adult, one minor per cabin to satisfy the system, then after sail away, sleep where you like. Just know the key cards will still be coded to the official pairings, so keep both handy for doors and muster records. Bottom line, match the departure region and cruise brand to your group's ages before you ever pay a deposit. Lock cabins next to each other if minors are involved, and get any exceptions in writing from the line well ahead of time. It's 5 minutes of planning that saves a vacation. You planned the dream, now you know how to keep it from derailing at the pier. If this saved you stress, tap like, hit subscribe, and share your near miss or best tip in the comments so other cruisers don't learn the hard way. Want more? Keep watching one of the 2 recommended videos. See you on board.